Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Ashley and this is Faithful Retos. So, as you can tell from the title of this video, we've got some very excited rats to be involved here. As you can tell from the title of this video, today's video is going to be showing you the sort of rat first aid stuff that I have, or the rat first aid kit, or like a rat medical kit. There are probably things in here that I don't have, one of them being Manuka honey. I really want to get my hands on some medical grade Manuka honey. This is excellent at helping wound healing. It's an antimicrobial and all that nonsense. I don't have it, but it apparently works wonders and people think very highly of it. Another one of those wound sort of cleaning things that I don't have is like lucillin or purple spray or something like that. That would also be really useful for wound healing and stuff as well. So I'm going to go through what I do have. This is sort of like first aid, medical related sort of things. So the first thing that I have here is a pill chopper, pill crusher or a pill chopper. Very handy for any tablets that may need to be cut to get the correct dosage or anything like that. So I have a pill crusher. I got this one from Amazon. It was like £3. You can get fancier ones and you can get ones that are slicers and crushers in one. But that's that. Going still like on the medical thing, I have a bunch of medicines still left over. So I've got Zodon, which is an antibiotic. I will periodically go through these, and once they're past their use by, I'll throw them away. I've also got an eye drop here. One thing that I do keep for much longer because they generally don't go out of date as quickly, that is tablets. So this is clavaceptin. So I think this is like amoxicillin based. So this is amoxicillin. This one is called clavaceptin and it comes in tablets. So these don't go off nearly as quickly as other things. So I've got these. I've also got some Benzocare, which was a heart failure med that Remy was on. So I've just got a bunch of sort of like leftover medicine. I've also got some steroid tablets as well, things like that. The one drug that I will always have on hand, and it will always be in date, Metacam. This is an anti-inflammatory painkiller. It's an NSAID, so it can't be given with like steroids and things. NSAIDs and steroids can't be given together because they have sort of like effects that they give each other. However, this is really helpful to have on hand, especially with rats, because they're prone to causing themselves problems. So that is one drug that I recommend everybody have access to and that they know how to appropriately dose it. It's a really simple drug to dose as well. So I have that. Staying on theme with medication and sort of this is sort of more on the giving out medication. I always have a bunch of different things on hand to help me give medication to my rats. So one of those being Licky Licks by the brand Webox. Now Webox, I don't know how they pronounce their brand name. This is not something that I would just give my rats. This is not a treat that they would just get given. It's not particularly great ingredients, and I'm all for giving our rats the best ingredients possible in their foods that they eat. However, it is super stinky and it can hide even some of the worst smelling and tasting medications out there. I had pretty good success with this when I was trying to give Zodon to my past rat Aldrin. Zodon is horrible, they hate it, but Licky Licks does some pretty good hiding. Another one that is really helpful for hiding medication is malt paste. Rats go absolutely feral over this. They call it rat crack, and they don't call it rat crack for no reason. It is really well loved and really helpful for giving meds in. I generally will give Metacam with a little bit of malt paste on the end of the syringe, and they just eat it very easily. It's a very helpful thing. And I also have Wait Up Baby, which is basically baby porridge from the brand Rat Warehouse, and there's loads of different flavours. This one is a caramel flavour. I actually have it in this little jar, and then I have this in the drawer. This is like a big bag to put in the drawer, but I have this on my medicine station. It's really cute, little raspberry. I love raspberries, so when I saw this in the shop, I was like, I'm getting that for Wait Up Baby. those are the 3 things that I have on hand to hide medicine in. I have heard other people using things like Biscoff paste, or watered down peanut butter, or cheese sometimes. I don't know. Those are what I use. And then to go along with the medical medicine theme, I also always have 1 milliliter syringes on hand. I've recently had to buy a new box because I only had a couple left over, but I do have girls that are on meds long term for the rest of their life. And that med is really, like, it gets the numbers off really quickly, so I always have these on hand. And I feel like it also degrades the plastic on the inside of the syringe as well, so I always have these in hand. These are really useful for giving rats medication. Vets will generally give you enough when you have it, but always very, very useful to have on hand. Still on the medicine theme, I also have Harcomectin, which is an ivermectin product that I use to treat mites. I've only ever had to treat mites. I've never had to treat lice or fleas or anything, but this also works for that. So I always have this on hand. This is much more cost effective, in my opinion, than something like the B4 Spot On, because they only need a tiny, tiny bit of this liquid, and it comes in like a little bottle like this with a pipette. I'll just show you. And it comes in a little bottle with a little pipette. And this is much more cost effective than the little ivermectin. You would have to put a whole thing on 1 rat, and this soaks them. This isn't as bad. So I'm gonna just apparently I also have 2 of the B4 Spot Ons. I don't know when or where they came from, so they could very well be out of date, but I generally don't use them. So I'll just put those back in there. So, moving on, I have some supplements that I would use for old or sick rats. My general everyday supplements, I don't consider them to be in like the first aid medical stuff, but these ones I would call it first aid medical because it's more specific to, I don't know, they're not general supplements. So one of them is a probiotic. This is especially helpful if you have rats on antibiotics or any of the drugs that sort of disrupt the gut. Probiotic is really helpful to have. This one also has vitamin C in, so that's also helpful for sick rats. I also have these 2 supplements that I use for older rats that are very helpful. So ipaketine helps kidney function. It binds to phosphorus, and phosphorus can be damaging to the kidneys, especially in old age. So this is really helpful. And I also have Invigorate XL, which is glucosamine, and this is really helpful for old joints. So when my rats start getting up there in age, when they have their extra weight baby to keep weight on them, I also give them this. That's another thing that weighted baby isn't. I don't just use it for hiding medicine in. I also use it as a calorific supplement for old or ill rats, or rats like recovering from surgery. It's really helpful to have this on hand because it's palatable and it's high in calories, so it helps them to keep weight on or gain weight if they've lost it. Now on to wound management. The one thing that I do have to clean wound is Hibby Scrub. Now this is a bit controversial with some people. Some people don't like it, but I just dilute this and put it on wounds if I need to. Generally though, rats keep their wounds really, really clean, and unless it's sort of like an abscess that's already got an infection going on, Hibby Scrub is fine. People say that it dries out the wounds too much. I don't overuse this. Generally I'll use this the first time I'm cleaning, and then I'll just clean with saline and it's fine. That's one thing I do need to buy more of. I don't have any saline. Another wound management is vet wrap. I haven't really had the best experience with keeping vet wrap on rats, but I do have it on hand in case of a wound that I need to keep them from messing with, or surgery on things. I have this on hand. I've never really used it though. And then the final thing I have on hand in my medical kit is urine test strips. These are just normal human urine test strips from Amazon. They're like this, the little little squares on that correspond to these things, and it's really helpful, especially before you go to the vet, taking the pee sample and just testing what's going on with that. These are really helpful. They were like £7 for 100. They do go out of date, so these ones go out of date in October of next year. I'm probably not going to use 100 by then, but it is still really useful and helpful to have. Another thing that I kind of guess would go along with that is a hospital cage. I've made a whole video about hospital cages, but I do have a range of small cages that I use as hospital cages. And yeah, that is pretty much my rat, like, first aid kit, medical kit that I have on hand. Obviously, for serious things, I'm going to the vet, and when I need medications and things, I do go to the vet, obviously, and the emergency vet if needed. But generally, there are a lot of things with rats that you can manage on your own, and if you have as many rats as I do, having these things on hand is really helpful. So yeah, thanks very, very much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, do leave them down below in the comments. Stick around and subscribe and like and all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!